lane and have big impacts in those side lanes. I want to see now what Knight decides to go towards, especially if Top Esports don't ban it. Viego potentially open here. It's been a big pick for Knight.
Still love the fact that LNG decided to ban away the Silas to take that one away from Top Esports. So the Volibear locked away is going to be the Lee Sin first pick, and Top Esports are not afraid to first pick solo lanes.
The Lee Sin surprised me. I assume Viego's been the pick on this patch. It's insane how strong it is. Now, I said it was for Knight. I still actually think it's probably going to go back towards Karsa. We saw his regen in lane take a pretty big hit, which makes it a lot more difficult to try and play him as a solo laner, especially in that mid lane. But we'll have to see what the plan is going to be. Jackie Love has been loving this Aphelios as well, so it looks like it will just be the Viego Aphelios lock-in. So for LNG, we could potentially see Light going back towards something that can try and counteract this, but you've already got the Ziggs taken off the board, Varus gone as well. The go-to has usually been going towards something like an Ezreal or even something like a Jinx here to try and play in towards that, but with things like the Thresh already taken off the board, Jinx seems fairly unlikely here.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like something you can just lean towards, as LNG do trade off the Aphelios, or excuse me, the Aphelios Viego for the Gwen. And what do they want to try and lean towards here? I wouldn't actually mind seeing Light onto the Tristana. Tristana is something that he has played historically and would have been slowly making itself back into the meta, but looks like they're going to go for that Ashe instead, get that instant engage with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and force a little bit more priority in this early stage.
Yeah, especially when you've already got Ale going towards the Gwen, Tarzan going towards the Lee Sin, setting them up for success can be such a strong tool and opens up Icon still to go towards a blind pickable thing like the Rise and making sure that he's still okay. So using that Ashe instead to, one, have presence in the lane with the ultimate, and two, be able to play elsewhere. Top Esports though, Jace picked up for 369. It feels like in that top lane, we talked about him going back towards this more carry-orientated style, which means you need these engaged supports in the bot lane for Zhou. So I wouldn't be surprised to see LNG banning things like Leona, Nautilus, trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Zhou to have those engages in the bot lane.
Yeah, you look at 369's Jace historically, he's played a lot of it in Spring Split when he's still playing, of course played it in the playoffs. Last time, I do believe the last time we saw it was in the playoffs against RNG, so definitely something he feels comfortable on, definitely something he can perform on should he need it, and overall one of his most played champions in the entire history of his career, so going to be looking to see exactly how that one works right now as Top Esports ban away the Braum, the LeBlanc, the Diana has been taken away as well. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind seeing another AP ban here away from on LNG side, just to say, look, we're going to limit the pool of champions you can take into that top side or even into the jungle.
I'm still surprised to see the priority on junglers. I do believe this is still going to be the Viego jungle for Karsa. We kind of talked about how it has taken a hit, but we'll have to see as it starts to go on. But we said, hey, look, you want engage coming through from Zhou. He needs to set up this team. The Nautilus works really well in fitting that style, and that's what we're going to get here. Leona more than likely going to be taken for LNG on the opposite side. Take the opposite, the kind of the more staple side of that matchup and make sure that you're in a good spot. And then you're kind of looking at your mid lane for Icon. I think a Rise fits really well here. Great opportunities to start moving around the map. You can play off of these Enchanted Crystal Arrows super well by bringing a bunch of people to that play too. So I feel like that's what we're going to see from Icon, but we'll have to check in just a moment.
Yeah, we're going to see the Alistar locked in first. This is one of Iwandi's most beloved champions, and the Zac would not be unheard of here. They could still pick up a jungler here now for LNG. That could be a mid lane Lee Sin.
I mean, it looks like that's going to be the case. I assumed that it was going to be the jungle Tarzan, Lee Sin coming in, but not going to be the case. Okay, so we get the Zac, so heavy engage tools coming through from LNG here. You're going to end up with this situation where Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Zac coming in across the line alongside this Alistar pick, and it's a nice kind of read from LNG as well, going, hey, look, so many jungles have been banned. A lot of that early game pressure that could potentially come through with invades on towards the Zac are kind of out of the way. Karsa going back towards the Rumble is the only one that actually kind of can contest that jungle, but it does mean LNG, these mid-game fights are going to be absolutely insane for them.
They really, really are, and the Rumble being picked up in a first time in a very long time now in the LPL. Rumble taking a lot of nerfs and really has fallen down the priority. Still see it in LCK quite a lot, but even just watching it, its late game damage isn't really there. The equalizer isn't as devastating as it used to be. And honestly, I think even at the late game stages, even with a level 3 or level 16 Rumble, the equalizer, when it lock it, just gets completely mitigated. So we'll see how Karsa's able to pilot this champion, how he's able to make the advantages, or if this Zac with the extremely long range, you hit that level 5, you get the extra points into your elastic slingshot, and you just have such a crazy range in that. Could just be the undoing here for Top Esports, unless they play some respectfully and safe.
And it does feel like it's a good read from LNG, right? We talked about the Trident, we talked about how, especially for Karsa, he tries to facilitate his lanes. He's about trying to control these early stages. But Karsa, with this faster clear, will need to get that vision down and stop Zac from shutting down this Trident and breaking it in half with these early plays.
Have to see exactly how it all ends up going down. Looking down quickly at the runes. Nothing too crazy to talk about as we jump onto the Rift for the first game in Suzhou today. This best of 3 between LNG and Top Esports. LNG still hunting for that top 2 finish, while Top Esports still waiting to confirm if they'll be in playoffs or not. Now, everything can be won or lost in this one series.
And especially a game number 1 like this, it feels like we're getting the styles that we were hoping to see from both these squads, right? We looked at LNG, we were like, hey, what we want is early pressure coming through from Tarzan. Zac is the perfect jungler for that. He creates chaos on the map by being able to come in from all these different angles that you don't really expect. It completely changes up your regular warding patterns, and if you haven't played against a lot of Zac, it makes it pretty difficult, honestly, to get used to the style that he brings to the game. Now, Top Esports, it looks like they already want to try and get this deep vision and make sure they know where Tarzan is going to be at all points in time.
Yeah, looking for the deep vision. Do have the red trinket to try and stuff as well. It's going to delay the start here from Tarzan, but he is starting up straight away now onto his Raptors. Won't be too disappointed with that. Yes, it slows down his clear a little bit, but going to be able to get level 2 regardless. Going to be Karsa picking up now onto the red buff, and this is a good back away here from LNG. They recognize that they're just not going to be able to contest for it, so no real kind of loss here as such, as Karsa not going to be able to get those Raptors, and you can see there already Zac moving straight away onto his blue, knowing that he just can't fight right now.
I feel like Karsa is going to swap over towards his top side, though, and then just make his way back down towards the bottom lane. And it means that then you end up in a situation where Tarzan doesn't actually effectively have a lot of places to farm. And you can actually see it now. Karsa is going to just clear out his full top side, and you end up kind of bypassing the split map and making sure Tarzan can't actually get any of the jungle, especially with the double push lanes from Top Esports. So nice job from Top here to try and set Tarzan behind on this Zac, which is how you counteract it.
Yeah, just doing his very, very best will mean that the Top Esports jungler has an awful lot more jungle camps to farm. As you can see already, the Rumble not as fast as he used to be. Still struggling a little bit with taking away this camp. You cannot get the same level of overheat from the W anymore, so you can't really stack that one up. It tends to be the second thing you take, or maybe even the third, as you need to get that overheat going nice and early to try and get your clear going nice and efficiently. But I don't think you're upset that much about this by LNG. Like, you still have a lot of opportunities, and Zac doesn't necessarily need a lot of gold. He just needs a couple of levels.
Well, he now has his target. Bot lane, double flash from the supports. I wanted trying to get the pulverize into the headbutt under the tower. Joe just managing to get away, but look at Tarzan. He's like, cool, I've got no camps. I see a vulnerable Nautilus. Let's go for it.
Yeah, they are going to push it in. You can see Sho playing very, very defensively right now. Tarzan going to recognize this and say, look, you know what? No real point in me going for this just yet. Going to try and take away my Krugs on this bot side, and they now know he's not on the Rift, or excuse me, the Rift Scuttler yet, so still none sure from Top Esports where this jungler of LNG is.
Yeah, Top Esports, though, they'll be very aware he's on that bottom side, right? Crab has been taken by Karsa, and looks like a lot of attention here for Icon.
Oh, nice there. A little safeguard keeps himself going as Karsa not able to link up with Joe, and Knight will still be okay in this mid lane, as will Icon, and no summoners have been burned. But now we might see a little bit of a skirmish over this Rift Scuttler. We're going to see the Hex Flash over the wall coming in. Hepa pulverized down onto the Nautilus. He has no flash, like we talked about earlier. There's the knockback. They're going to make them go Kit. First blood to LNG. Now, TP on the backside of this. You can see 369 flashing in, looking to try and find more of that. And Ale has been left alone on this top side. He did not have a TP to respond, so they're going to be able to gift that one over to 369 while top lane goes in favor of LNG.
Poor timing from LNG. The wave had just been shoved in by 369, so LA had to TP back. and 369 resets and is there for the play. That was just unfortunate timing, and as Tarzan went for the scuttle, it means he ends up costing his life and giving 2 kills over to Top Esports. But this is the early skirmishes that we wanted to see. This is how Top Esports get their advantages regularly, and now you're in a bit of trouble as LNG, as the uphill battle already commences.
It's a little bit of an uphill battle. It is a trade of 1 for 2. You can see here LNG felt very confident to go for this fight, recognizing that they were a 2v1, but or 3v2, excuse me, but it just wasn't enough. And Knight here able to do so much on the back end of this to put down those health bars.
Yeah, sure, it does go down, but the big thing here is that you do get that teleport coming in from 369. I thought it might have been a bit dicey because of how far away it was and how long he waited on it, but he still managed to get the kill. So you've got a Jace already with the serrated Dirk now looking good at that top lane. Knight as well being accelerated toward this Divine Sunder. It's going to be a very nice time for Top Esports when they're able to control the both solo laners and make sure they're getting into this incredibly strong spot where they can take over team fights.
And 369 picked himself up a blue from that kill onto Tarzan, so very happy with himself right now. Again, early skirmishes, early action here from both sides, and this is what we expect to see from Top Esports and LNG, because they are still a very, very good team. It's more about when we get to that 10-15 minute mark, when we start to see team fighting coming into it. We start to see both teams looking to try and make an advantage for themselves as a whole when we see LNG tend to falter.
And that is the plan from LNG, right? Try and play... Ooh, hang on.
Oh, that was so good. The extra range, level 5. What did I talk about? Exactly what you need to do here for Tarzan, jumping straight on the top lane, equaling out the top side.
And I love that they're getting this for Ale as well. This is the guy that is going to have to deal with a lot of the split push pressure Top Esports are going for, but play bot side.
Play bot side, indeed. Iwandi going to have to be turned into mincemeat. He accepts that he is now a burger that will be served straight up onto Top Esports' plate. It will end up losing that kill. Knight using his teleport advantage to very good effect. And Top Esports not to be outdone just yet.
Well, Top Esports just using their some of their spells better, right? LNG, they are both use those TPs to get back to lane. Now, for Ale, he did have to get back for the lane. For Icon, he's trying to move around the map as well. But unfortunately, it means that Top Esports are finding these advantages for themselves. 1,000 gold lead. Tarzan now spots Top Esports on his red.
Yeah, they know he's there, and actually Karsa in a little bit of trouble. Icon trying to go in on top of him. Overheat there. Icon used his Q, not quite able to land it. Uses the safeguard to try and get away, but there should be a hook available. The lollipop is enough to keep him underneath the wraps. The flash forward, the flash in, and now you can see Knight gets himself a reset, but I don't know if he wants this one right now. Gonna force the Heartbreaker again back out to try and keep himself safe, and Top Esports, they make it work.
Skirmishes galore going in Top Esports' favor, and now you're in a situation where Knight again, the benefactor of a lot of this, and we've seen what he can do when he gets ahead on this Viego. He'll play that split push style, and you'll be forced to draw 2-3 members down to that bottom lane to deal with the strength that this Viego offers. And when you've got 369 accelerating Jace as well, the 1-3-1 from Top Esports is so damn strong.
It really, really is. Ale still going to be able to soak up most of this wave, so in terms of experience, not going to be losing too much. Actually, still about half a level ahead of 369, and this is good from Top Esports. They've got themselves nearly a 2,000 gold lead. They're getting Knight ahead, which at the moment sitting on 10 MVPs for the split. He is definitely the person you want to be giving that golden experience to.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has been insane. I mean, honestly, the best split that I've seen from him in quite a while. He's been able to perform on things like the Silas. This Viego has been a big pick for him as well. And we've even seen him pop off in LeBlanc's. Like, he's just... It feels like the meta has just shifted into everything that Knight loves to play. And you're seeing him almost giddy when he comes into these games because he gets to show just how good he is on these picks. However, we need to see a little bit more coming through from Top Esports here, right? It's great you're getting the skirmishes. Let's turn this into objectives. And when you've got the double pressure in the solo lanes, Top Esports will start up this Rift Herald and get a little bit more for themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if they can go for it 100% though. Ale has immediately roamed down and said, nope, you are not getting this objective for free just yet. Tarzan is roaming up to sweep out all of the vision. Mid lane priority though does belong to Top Esports, as now the Rift Herald has yet to reset, and it looks like LNG, yep, they're just going to give it up. They don't really feel confident going for the skirmish just now, and they're going to lose too much in the lanes if they try and fight it.
2 waves crashing simultaneously. They need to go pick them up. the gold you would lose there is not worth it, as Top Esports could just back away, let it reset, and come away with the gold and XP advantage anyway. So LNG, they will decide to see that, which means you get to start using this elsewhere now for Top Esports. Rift Herald playing top of potential when you've got 369 there, and already a couple of turret plates gone on that top side.
See where he wants to go and put it. Still just about a 1,500 gold lead as Tarzan now puts himself behind the wall. Wave is pushing into Knight, so going to be difficult here for LNG to make anything really stick. As Carson now on this top side, we're going to see LA getting jumped on here by 369. He's just kiting this one out as best he can. Still a flash available for the Gwen, should they need it, but they do not. The Hallowed missed enough to keep him safe away from those torpedoes.
Yeah, LA held on to it for so long that you couldn't throw down the equalizer, couldn't throw down a couple of these harpoons to see if you can try and track him. But Tarzan now on towards Knight.
Gonna go jump on top of him. No flash, but he does have the Heartbreaker, and that's Knight getting himself out immediately. Knows that if he gets caught up by the Q, he's a dead man.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure, gets jumped on, but oh, I love that from I1D. He flashes in behind Jackie Love and gets him to go underneath tower, which forces the flash. Now you only have the cleanser for Jackie Love, but a flash forward from Light means that he can really make this one work for himself and his team. The flash forward, the Let's Bounce, 2 kills back to LNG. I1D was the perfect setup for that.
This is why I love I1D. This guy is the heart and soul of the early game for LNG, and you can see it there. Manages to turn that play around as Tarzan comes down, and I just was about to say, if LNG want to make sure they're not losing control of this game, they need to start making these plays bot. They need to start stacking up these dragons, otherwise you run the risk of Top Esports just playing this 1-3-1 and never having to fight you.
Great play there. Can't wait to watch the replay on that. And just great movement there from Tarzan. I'll just stop myself, though, very quickly as Ale does use the needlework to force 369 away without mana and out health. He cannot take that fight, but both flashes still in the inventories of Ale. But just great movement from Tarzan. Goes directly from mid. Doesn't go back onto a camp. Doesn't try and get anything going. Because, again, he's a Zac. He doesn't need gold. He just needs, like, levels in his elastic slingshot, and he's golden.
He needs Dark Seal stacks. That's what he needs. 4 already picked up for him with that item. It's a pretty cool item because AP Zac can hurt a little bit, but we'll have to see if we get a little bit more. Again, though, wants to be bottom lane, wants to focus in on this, especially with Icon having the TP advantage. They can make these plays happen.
Oh, there's the TP coming in now immediately. As soon as TP was committed by 369 on that top side, you can see straight away LNG punish this so damn hard. Very nicely done now, and LNG find themselves back in an equal game.
And this is the LNG that is in the 3rd place position right now. The proactive one who's making plays with Icon having TP available, using the tempo for their advantage. Now they can turn that in towards plates on Terra's bot, turn it in towards dragons. This is what I love to see when I get this LNG. The problem is when we get the individual plays that aren't quite working out. But right now, LNG are starting to fight back against the control Top Esports had wrestled in the early game.
Yeah, he's going to be dragon started and probably taken here solo by Karsa. Still sitting on that Rift Herald. Has only about 30 or 40 seconds left on that, so should be dropping it relatively soon. You can see top lane and mid lane both pretty juicy targets. They're going to have to drop it pretty soon as they now moves in to try and maybe invade on this red buff. Karsa, I think you need to remember, buddy, you have a big objective that could mean a lot of gold if you don't drop it pretty soon.
Yeah, I feel like he's just going to take this red buff and just go straight towards mid, right? You've got that. Oh, okay.
He can't.
Gonna go.
The boat priority.
Gonna go and walk down towards bot lane. Knight actually moved out of mid lane, so not gonna be able to do it. So they will toss it in towards this bot lane towards Jackie Love instead. Although gonna be a bit dicey as to whether it gets the charge.
Yeah, don't see it. Equalizer does go down. They will catch up on the I1D, who has to force him to use his unbreakable will. The Equalizer did go down pretty much to set up the red carpet to line up the Rift Herald to stop it from being taken over. So they will get the charge off it. They do have to commit a little bit more than they probably wanted to as 369 jumps straight in onto Ale. But Ale doesn't really care at this stage. He's got his Riftmaker. He'll be fine.
Still has to be careful. I mean, that combo coming up again and a flash could spell death for Ale, but has got a flash of his own in that matchup, so we'll be able to at least get away. Bot lane, though, Tarzan didn't commit the smite. I assumed the smite was going to come down to try and stop that charge, but doesn't quite get it. So those plates do go the way of Top Esports. And now, like, look at the gold, right? You've got advantage top lane for 369, advantage mid lane for Knight, and a gold advantage now being evened out for Jackie Love in that bottom lane. Top Esports looking to fight.
They are looking to fight. Jackie Love, though, will get the Gravitum down onto Tarzan, who has to use his Elastic Slingshot to disengage. There's the Moonlight Vigil, putting down a decent amount of chunk. Light, though, will not be CC'd down by Jackie Love, and is the ultimate committed. No one really does die or go down, so you're not unhappy with it if you're on LNG, but for more pressure in this top side, 369 able to continually push back this Gwen, make sure that he's able to keep down this turret, and we'll be able to take it pretty damn soon.
Yeah, it's a win regardless from Top Esports because of the position by Tarzan. He gets caught out, even though he makes it out, you have a lot of resources moved by LNG into that bottom side of the map. So 369 knows he's free to take that top turret after going for that heavy trade against Ale. Now, Top Esports looking for this play mid as Knight starts to roam down.
Yeah, looking for the play bot side as mid lane was pushed in. Have the equalizer available to them, but good response here from LNG. They recognize there's no real point in trying to defend that one there. Just try and push out top, push out mid, get as much as you possibly can, and maybe look to try and contest for this Rift Herald now in about 10 seconds.
You still have 369 is moving up there. Knight just still has his TP if he wants to try and look for a reset. I think he's sitting on a good amount of gold right now, but won't have time to back as it looks like LNG will just seed bot tower and get this Rift Herald instead. Ale in the vicinity too, and no Top Esports members around.
This game is very, very close right now. It does feel like Top Esports are being more proactive. It does feel like they are the ones that are coming out on top when it comes to the trades. But LNG not being undone, finding a couple of small skirmishes themselves to keep them in the in the running, if you will, keep them within arm's length of Top Esports. And again, I'm glad to see 369 coming back and honestly having a pretty solid game so far. Is on the Jace, so is going to have that early priority, but so far so good for the return of the top laner.
Oh, Ale going to get spotted here, but you can see 369 trying to play off this blip push. Has a lot of forces here from Top Esports, but I want to talk about this Rift Herald because we're talking about this split push coming through from Top Esports. The way you break this as LNG is forcing priority with this Rift Herald. As soon as you see Top Esports starts to spread out around the map, plonk that Rift Herald in mid, group around it, and just look to force Top Esports out of these side lanes. And you can see it right now that Top Esports are aware of this. Every time they're shoving out, they're trying to group in mid to shut down this Rift Herald play and stop LNG from able to force the priority back in their favor, force the tempo back in their favor, because right now it's Top Esports who have control.
Well, we're looking at a replay there of Icon being spotted on awards, so Knight was available to kind of walk himself away. They do know exactly where he is. No TP available though, as that ward just die as Icon pushes in the wave. Knight will gladly accept the remnants of the enemy minions coming into him. And we've had a little bit of a lull. 16, nearly 17 minutes on the clock. It's about 2.5, maybe a little less gold leads. We'll call it 2,000. LNG still very much have opportunities, still very much have options and tools available to them to catch out anyone on Top Esports. And be curious to see how Top Esports now continue with this game as they've definitely found themselves a little bit more momentum.
Dragon's the big one here, right? 20 seconds until that spawns. You feel like LNG want to try and take this fight. Ale nearly has his TP up and available, but Top Esports have already moved in towards the objective. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see Top Esports just give this up, look for more objectives, and actually potentially look for this play on the bottom side of the map, as Icon is the one lone standing underneath this turret.
Number 369 spotted on awards, so he knows Icon is very well aware that this is happening. They did swap out Tarzan. It's going to be a jump straight in on the 369 who gets kicked back, knocked in. They are going to put down the dredge line. It's a little bit dodgy for both the solo laners of Icon and 369, but they do keep themselves safe and back themselves out. While that's been happening, Ale has had a free time in this top side to cut down the turret. Scissors beats rock, apparently, in this particular game of League of Legends. And the dragon being started, Tarzan nowhere near this. Is Karza going to be able to take this one for free?
I think LNG are missing their opportunities here. I mean, you have that Rift Herald, you force priority mid, you can, yes, give over that bot's lane tower, but you can take the fight over towards the dragon. You can get these mid lane turrets down, TP Ale in, take a lot more from what you have at the moment. The tools just aren't fitting for them right now, and it means the Top Esports, yes, they don't get the tower bot, but they do get the dragon. They're getting more of these advantages, and Icon is just being left on this island against Knight, who he doesn't want to be fighting anymore.
Yeah, he's 30 or so CS down, actually about 40 CS down in this matchup. Yes, he has the Gore Drinker, but that's not what he wants to be doing. He wants to be getting in behind this Aphelios. He wants to be catching out Jackie Love, comboing in with Iwandi. and seeing if they can get the kill off as quick as possible. Pretty much full mythics across the board apart from the supports, but, you know, support problems in that regard. Gale Force here for Light. I do like this, just keeps him at a safe distance, keeps him from getting caught out, and his objective in this game is not to be a massive DPS. His objective and his role in this team fight is to set up picks.
Definitely, but I will also say, although not the Kraken Slayer build, Ash does a surprising amount of damage. Like, when you get the Gale Force, Wit's End, and a bunch of these other items coming through, that Ranger's Flurry is a surprising amount of damage that you're going to have to deal with here at Top Esports. The only thing that I will say, though, is that for LNG, it's not so much picks, just a really good starting tool for these fights. And you can see here, right, if you try to contest this here as Top Esports, a quick Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Karsa could be a disaster.
Yeah, could be. Karsa just dropped down the Equalizer and the Smite, but Shelly shall do her job and get the turret in the mid lanes. So that one is the second one here for LNG. They have top and mid, so pretty equal in terms of that regard. It is still only about 1,000 gold now, in fairness, in favor of Top Esports. So they're not going anywhere with it. And Tarzan is finding himself around these sides and will just put himself over that wall because he recognizes there's a lot more Top Esports members on the other side of that wall. Oh, visual. Not quite, not quite.
I love that play from him, though. So Infernum just managing to clip on towards the Ash might actually force this play here from Top Esports. They can start to siege down as LA starts to step up.
Starts to step up, but there's no objective right now, so this would be a just straight up 5v5 for the sake of 5v5. You can see Knight moving around, trying to see if he can get behind this team. Iwandi already taking a bit of a chunk out of him. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, and that's on top of the Nautilus, but the Equalizer has been popped already straight off of the bat, means that no one from LNG can walk forward. Iwandi just about keeps himself alive, as does Zhou, and everyone backs himself up. The turret still lives.
It was a nice attempt from LNG, but this isn't Season 2. Light doesn't have the TP to follow up on that play, and it means that he's out of the fight. It's 4 versus 5, and they end up trading essentially health bar for health bar on the support. Now, Top Esports, they just go for it again. They still have the potential to siege here, and the goal here is that mid lane turret. A 1-3-1 only works if you can get this mid lane turret. Otherwise, it's too hard for Top Esports to try and aggress that bit further forward. So now, Knight will push in top. I want to see 369 pushing in mid, or that bottom lane, and see if you can re-collapse on this mid lane. But with Dragon in a minute and a half, it's going to be tough to get that mid lane turret before this next Dragon fight.
I love the point you made about the 1-3-1 being so difficult without that mid lane turret being down, because you're not only dealing with the west of side waves, you can't push up as aggressively, but you have to deal with the moments of darkness where Tarzan could be lurking. He gets so much more agency to put himself behind a raptor camp, to put himself behind a bush and just jump on your face, causing you so much displeasure and pain in these team fights. So needing to know where he is and also having the option to be able to push up that aggressive vision means that mid lane turret's gotta go.
Resets coming through for Top Esports, so they'll be the ones that are going to be able to get in towards this river first. Look at the vision control that they have as well, right? Wards littered all throughout river, already at the back of the pit, and it means that especially for someone like Tarzan, it makes it that little bit more difficult to try and get these big plays off that you were just talking about, Penguin. So I want to see Top Esports now starting to group as this 3-man unit with Karsa, Jackie, and Shaw, and see if they can get that vision that little bit deeper. 369 also here just to provide that bit of poke as Knight threatens top lane turrets.
There is now a collector here for Jackie Love on the Aphelios, waiting for the Blade of the Rune King coming in for Light, so he will be able to chunk down some of these health bars. Icon using the safeguard to get to safety, as Shuo still has his flash available, so there will be all summoners now, apart from Tarzan's flash, available for this dragon fight in 10 seconds. LNG need to fight this one. They cannot let Top Esports get up to this Dragon Soul point. Top Esports, though, they are not really the ones that feel confident walking into this river.
And rightly so. This is a team fighting composition from LNG. This is what they're looking for. Iwandi has his flash. If he can get onto Jackie or 369, it's done and dusted for Top Esports.
It is. We can see there Iwandi getting pushed away by Knight and Karsa. Pink ward in the back of the pit. underneath that bush as Dragon has been started. Now, the guns are not great for Jackie Love in terms of a team fight, as we do see Knight now jumping onto Iwandi. They use the enchanted crystal arrow onto the one person who can't get away. 369 has to try and keep himself alive, as we see Ale and Icon jumping straight onto him. The Cell Division passive has been used to try and keep this Zac alive, and Top Esports are routed. Top Esports don't know where to go. It's all on Knight to try and get these resets. Can he get it? One more. It's all Knight. He flashes away. He's going to be at the Heartbreaker. Knight now joined in, and it will fall. And LNG get the fight. It's only Karsa left alive, and the Dragon's still there to be taken.
Beaten, battered, and bruised, LNG managed to take that fight by the skin of their teeth. But it was a phenomenal engage to set that up, and there's just nothing that Top Esports can do about it. First Dragon on the board for LNG.
LNG take the fight. They now equal out the gold. They've got themselves a dragon, and important enough, they've got themselves more time. So Top Esports not able to find the purchase, but you can see how close this fight is to Knight just completely taking over.
We said 369 is the person you focus on. Enchanted Crystal Arrow with the follow-up there from Tarzan means they take him out. Now watch Iwandi on the bottom of your screen. 3 members of Top Esports all focused on the cow. 4 members all focused on the cow. Iwandi absorbing so much damage with that Unbreakable Will means that they've got the time here as LNG to follow up on the fight, as you said, the kick. And even though Knight so close to taking over this fight, nearly getting these resets off the Heartbreaker, not quite able to do so, and LNG come out on top.
And then right at the end there, Ale with a fantastic flash just to keep himself out of the Heartbreaker damage range. We go back, we reset, we pick up second items for a hell of a lot of carry. Blade the Rune King now finished up here for Light. You've got yourself the Steris Gauge onto Icon, the Thornmail here, and 10 stacks of that Dark Seal here for Tarzan. So great moves here for LNG. Keeps them within touching distance. And now we're looking at skirmishes, we're looking at scraps, we're looking at Top Esports looking to punch back after they took a little bit of a knock in that second fight.
Yeah, Icon in the top lane does have the TP to get here, but Top Esports again committing mid. TP here as Tarzan's on.
Tarzan is on. He hasn't got the passive, but he does have the flash. Gets himself out and the elastic slingshot. You can see Icon looking for something. He gets the flash, he gets the hook, and he gets the kick in back off of this one. Now you see the needlework doing so much. Jackie Love, though, is just too damn tanky and putting out too much DPS. Icon will try and get himself out, but I think he's dead to rights. Nowhere for him to really go. Joe picks up that kill, but the important thing to notice is Aphelios is dead.
Aphelios is dead. Tarzan still alive, though. Went into the Cell Division, which means he's still up. You cannot start the Baron here as Top Esports, but Top Esports come out on top in the play, and it's all down to Tarzan getting caught out at the start of that. Means that you've got the panic switches coming in from LNG to try and find some sort of purchase in this fight, but it was already too late, right? You've got everyone from Top Esports turning over towards this. Iwandi is back a full loop around and is now only rejoining the fight. So as Tarzan hits Nerdy goes into Cell Division, where's the follow-up? Icon gets this great kick, but Icon isn't enough. Iwandi's not in a position to follow up. Jackie Love gets the flash away. Ale goes way too far forward trying to get on towards the AD carry who's supposed to be vulnerable, but LNG aren't able to kill him and they give over 2 kills instead.
Give over the 2 kills, which means the Top Esports will take themselves a bit of 1,000 gold lead. But this is so tit for tat, so many clutch moments, and important to recognize that not having a flash on the Jackie Love sees how vulnerable he is, see how incredibly easy it is for Top Esports to then just have to go into panic stations themselves. It worked because of the early skirmishes where they were able to take down Tarzan and obviously, as you said, force Iwandi the long way around, but the longer this game goes, the more I am going to be watching on Jackie Love's positioning, and neither team willing to let this one go. They both want this win so bad.
I want to see Top Esports going back towards this 1-3-1 though, because you can see, like, Knight can take over fights. He can definitely take over a 1v1. 369 as well is going to do super well against Ale. He's going to do wonders against Icon as well. Like, operate in that fashion, or at least a 1-4, and use the fact you've got this incredibly strong Viego. Yes, they're trying to make these picks happen, and they are getting these teleports out, which help, but they need to actually get on top of that as well. We can see it now. Knight in the bot lane. They're going to try and capitalize on the fact you've only got a single TP for LNG.
And you know what the funny thing is? I completely agree with everything you said, but you know what's stopping them from really implementing that 1-3-1? That pesky mid lane tier 1 you mentioned. It is still up, it is still healthy, and you can see, like you mentioned, Dagda, how difficult it is for Top Esports to make this one work. They're trying now with a 1-3-1, but they can't get any further up in the mid lane, because if they try and push for this tier 1, they could be collapsed on by 5 members and lose 3.
And the way you do it now is... Oh, actually, well, pick Icon, apparently.
Oh, you're going to get a pick onto Icon. He does have to use his kick away. He will get ignited and dredge lines, so that will not be available in the next 3 seconds. Icon ticking down, but the equalizer not enough to kill him off. No TP there for the LNG mid laner, but that could spell the start of this Baron.
And Icon has no TP, we already pointed out. This is going fast, it's gone.
It's going, it's gone! It's going to be going over to Top Esports. Now the fight is a 4v5. You can see them going in with Knight and Iwani. They're going to get the Let's Bounce going in. They're going to be able to pick out Jackie Love straight away on this fight. Iwani keeping 3 people away, as here goes Light with this Ashe, trying his very, very best, but you can see Knight with the reset, with the Heartbreakers, able to pick up 2 kills for himself. It ends up being a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Top Esports, and most importantly, they got themselves the Baron. But they're not done just yet. Knight jumps straight in onto Icon. Icon in a lot of trouble. The flash forward, and another reset, a delayed triple, and Knight is not done. He's looking for more, but he doesn't land the stolen Sonic Wave, and he needs to be a little bit more careful. He will back himself out, and another fantastic performance from Knight keeps Top Esports rolling.
I mean, a 4 versus 5, you were never going to make that play, and even Icon getting caught out after the fact means Top Esports not only get 1 tier 2, they get both, or tier in the mid lane, they get both towers in the mid lane, and now they can turn over towards this dragon as well. Karsa shoving in on this bot side. That's the fight that has now blown open this game. Baron up, 5k gold lead, and a potential for soul point here for Top Esports.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick that one up. You can see they're just pushing in, getting down all of this, taking away all the resources from LNG. They will not have a single camp. They will not have any vision. They will not have any lanes whatsoever. Tarzan now moving over. Karsa, get yourself in that pit, buddy, because if Tarzan actually thought about it, he might have ended up going towards that pit a little bit earlier. He will not, however, go and try and risk it, so it is going to be soul point here for Top Esports. 11 kills apiece, 4,000 gold lead. Actually, about 5,000 gold lead here for Top Esports. And let's have a look at this replay, because it starts off pretty decently for the side of LNG. They're able to get on the Jackie Love, but like you said, 4v5, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, Jackie Love isn't the problem, though. It's Knight. And Knight this entire time is murdering everyone. And even Light is doing his damnedest. Like, watch, he's getting some nice gale forces, dodging away from hooks, he's looking nice and clean. It doesn't matter. The damage profile from this Viego is too high to deal with. And now you're in a position where this Viego is taking over this game. It's why when we talked about in Champ Select, I saw the Viego open, I was like, please do not give this to Top Esports. This is like Knight's favorite champion right now. He always pops off on this pick. There's no way you can give that across, but they don't lock it in that first rotation, and then you still end up getting Knight having these familiar pop-off performances.
Oh, 369, that is not the play, my dude. He's going to get taken down, shut down. TP going to be committed here. That's Knight very late on the party, and the one person you said they had to be worried about has now joined. But another great little headbutt here from Iwandi stops Knight from getting on top of the carries he needs to kill. He doesn't have the damage right now. He doesn't have the health bar. Knight will fall, and they will take the fight. LNG against the Baron, against everything, will find a moment, and Top Esports slip.
The Rune King was desperate for a health bar, desperate for someone to go down, but so many flashes, so much mobility, they stop it, and now Jackie Love, Tarzan's on top of you.
Tarzan is there. He will not land the Q, so the stretching strike not quite there, but he doesn't care. He's going to keep pushing in on top of this one. Tarzan needs to be a little bit careful, as here comes Icon, not quite able to land the Q. No real objective to take here for LNG, so they're going to turn it into towers. They're going to push in those waves, but great opportunistic moment there for LNG. They recognized they had about 6-7 seconds where there was no Ruined King. Knight was not there. The MVP of Top Esports was not available, and they were able to take the fight.
And the 5,000 gold lead evaporated. Baron buff gone. Now LNG are back on firm footing with Top Esports, and when you're looking at the point where they're at, these team fights, especially from Ally, are nuts. Like, look how much damage Ally actually gets off in this fight. Like, Icon, phenomenal kick there to start this off into 369. As you said, Knight has nowhere to be found right now. He TPs in, but the fight's already gotten away from Top Esports. They're running for the hills, and then again peeling back, making sure Knight can't get in. And watch the low health bars, right? Knight's like, I can kill Ale. Ale flashes over the wall, make sure that he's going to be totally fine. Right as Knight tries to get the Heartbreaker reset. And then again, you see him looking at the health bar, and Iwandi. That could have been a reset, but no. LNG playing so well around the resets and not giving Knight the opportunity to take over these fights.
This gold is dead even again. 2 minutes until that Dragon's Soul is available for Top Esports. 4 towers apiece, 60,000 gold. I mean, this is exactly what we wanted, Dagda. This is such a close series, and this is what we wanted to see from both of these teams, because regardless of where they are in the standings right now, they have proven that their ceiling is exceptionally high.
So now we have to focus on this Dragon. A minute and a half until it's up. You have a mega fed Aphelios, who's now, well, not mega fed, but certainly 3 items working towards that Infinity Edge as well. He's in a great spot. Knight is massive in this fight as well. As we get the pick.
They're going to try and jump onto the Nautilus, who goes golden. They're going to up on the Equalizer and the Dredge line, so you can see Tarzan going golden himself. They jump back in, they get the kickback. The knock up is on the 369, but it's not exactly the fight you want if you're on LNG. They're trying to run away, but Ale gets caught in the crosshairs of Knight, and Knight is not done. He knows this champion, and you can see LNG, they're heading for the hills.
And this time Knight's in the right position. This time he's able to single out Ale and find the 1v1 fight. And now Top Esports, we said, hey look, they're looking at Soul Point. Or they're looking at that Ocean Soul, and you've got 35 seconds until Ale is up and available. So for Knight, he's perfectly happy to go, cool, I'm going to play Bouncer on anyone entering this river, and we'll make sure that we get this objective.
Now, important to recognize here, no real Summoner's Bird. The only thing of real value that was lost was that stopwatch onto Tarzan, but he has completely sold that off and just gone with Anathema's chains. So still very, very tanky, still very capable of jumping into these fights. And now LNG, with the resets, will go back onto the map. 20 seconds until this Dragon spawns. You will have Ale and he will have teleport, but look at those quickie little wards hitting behind the side of LNG. But I think if Top Esports, they're not really looking to contest this right now. They're looking to just straight up kind of group together, maybe go for a death ball.
Maybe looking for a bit of damage coming through from 369 before this all kicks off. You want Tarzan to find these big engages, but Top Esports have cleared out all the vision of their own jungle. So instead, LNG start up the Dragon.
They start up the Dragon is gone. Now, do you look for the fight? There's a Sonic Wave, there's the kickback. Knight in a little bit of trouble. The Equalizer to try and just disengage from this. LNG will absorb the Moonlight Vigil as well. Iwandi and Icon still kind of caught in no man's land. Iwandi left very alone. And now the rest of Top Esports, maybe they burn towards the Baron.
Yeah, TP from Knight, they're literally just going to start it up straight off the bat. Iwandi didn't have his flash just quite available to follow up on that pick, and now Top Esports actually looking for the play.
It's a bait. Nicely moved there. Icon recognizing immediately the dredge line, and the hook does land. Icon a little bit of trouble. They can look for the fight now as Knight and 369 are the ones you need to be watching in this fight. Jackie Love is dead. It's a 5v4. It's a 5v3. It's Knight and 369 trying to jump back in on top of this fight, but look at the damage from this Ash. LNG find it all. LNG take it all, and LNG have got themselves a route, and it's true mid lane for this game.
It's the bounce house. They can't move. They can't go anywhere. Icon will finish off 369, but look at mid lane. They're tearing through. LNG, they're looking for the end.
LNG showing the Top Esports that we are ahead of you for a reason. They haven't taken the series just yet, but they will start with a fantastic step forward. LNG will take the advantage in this series, and Top Esports and their fans are starting to sweat.
LNG, a phenomenal game one. The LNG we wanted to see answering for everything. Enchanted Crystal Arrow to stop the recalls, or the respawns, and LNG will take the Nexus.
What a game. Both these teams giving it all. It was capitalizations on mistakes. It was opportunistic kills. It had everything you could have wanted. But in the end, and I think this is kind of similar to what we've had